Tonight in our Now News Roundup, we're going to continue on with our look at how people are reacting to the actual issue that was core for voters watching the debate on Tuesday night. Democrats are actually frustrated with polls, snap polls, showing that voters saw Trump as more moderate after Harris's debate performance.
That New York Times Siena College poll had Trump up by 1 point nationally, 48 to 47. And while Harris is tied or leads in every swing state, she continues to struggle with white working class voters. Is that her Achilles heel, especially when we're looking in those blue wall states in the Midwest that Democrats are seeking say are so important to their chances in November?
Yeah, absolutely. Those white working class voters, that's kind of the bread and butter for the Trump campaign. That's been sort of the demographic that Trump has really done very well with in both 2016 and 2020. Those are voters that he wants to, run up the score with. And so the question is, on the one side, can Vice President Harris and her campaign, can they make enough inroads with those kinds of voters with, sort of these populist economic proposals that she's leaning into about price gouging, about housing policy, things like that? Can she peel away some of Trump's support with those voters and, appeal to them as more of a moderate? And then on the other hand, if she can't, then she will need to run up the score with, voters of color, with black voters, with women voters, especially where there's this big gender gap that Harris has the advantages with women voters in particular. She'll need to run up the score with those voters to kind of offset her losses with white working class voters. So it'll be very interesting to see, come election day, what these coalitions look like and kind of how these two campaigns are trying to stitch together enough votes to get to 270 electoral votes in the Electoral College.
It's fascinating to hear his analysis there because they are really grappling with independent voters and their quest, both Harris and Trump, to prove to Americans that one of them has a better plan for their lives going forward for the next 4 years. So, in talking about the voting, we have Congress getting enhanced security for the 2025 electoral vote count. What's interesting about this is we don't have enhanced security at federal buildings across the country or police stations. We don't have enhanced security for police officers, all of whom have been materially damaged and harmed. 70,000 officers experienced some kind of damage, physical damage to their persons or their property during the sustained riots after the George Floyd death. We're talking about 9 months of sustained rioting and multiple billions of dollars in property damage. We haven't seen any sustained or additional security offered to those locales, but Congress will actually receive new additional funding and security for the election certification process that will happen in January, regardless of who wins. So this is posturing, in my opinion. They're trying to make Americans think that they feel unsafe. And they may feel unsafe. I don't care how they feel. What I care about is what they actually do with taxpayer dollars. This is a waste to me, and I don't agree with it. Now, the Department of Justice has now announced that they're dropping some charges and retooling plea deals for January 6 defendants. What's interesting about this is the absolutely unbelievable truth that people who simply paraded around the Capitol building or drank a glass of bourbon or somehow did trespass or aggravated trespassing are still in jail after 3 years. There are people in this country who have raped other people and haven't served 3 years in prison. Yet the J6 defendants continue to rot, some of them having committed suicide, some of them having died from cancer while incarcerated in deplorable conditions. So the Justice Department has been forced to offer retool plea deals or drop charges against people who breached the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Coming in the aftermath of the Supreme Court ruling that narrowed how federal prosecutors can pursue obstruction charges against those who were involved in the riot. They're now offering plea deals that do not include the obstruction charges, which were some of the more serious charges carrying up to 25 years in prison. According to Justice Department statistics, there were roughly 259 defendants facing this same obstruction charge when the High Court issued their ruling that narrowed how the law could be applied. Now, SCOTUS ruled in Fisher v. United States, and they said that obstruction charges could only apply to defendants who attempted to impact documents and other things in an official proceeding. Prosecutors would have to prove each defendant falls into that category by connecting them to the Electoral College certificates Congress was certifying on that day. Only 17 people, which is only roughly less than 2% of the roughly 1,400 Capitol riot defendants, were convicted of the obstruction charge. But they were not convicted of other felonies, but they're currently serving prison time on that charge. I'm hoping for some people to be released here. This is such a travesty. And closing out here, McDonald's is now going to extend, they're committed, their $5 menu. This is an interesting development because in this high inflationary period, Americans have been unable to access the dollar menu because they increased it from a dollar to five. So they're going to extend the $5 meal deal offer into December in most US markets. The franchisees have been voting on extending the value meal in their local markets, and roughly 80% of local markets have opted to extend this deal into December. The restaurant sector focused on value this summer, and companies including McDonald's, Burger King, and even Starbucks have attempted to lure customers back with discounted offerings. That's a big yay from me because I do like eating at Starbucks. And that's the program for today. Stacy Washington, and this is Stacy Washington now here on Salem News Channel. God bless you, and we'll see you back here in less than 24 hours for more.